The desk you see right now, I made a couple years ago. It's made out of maple, it's a standing desk, and it's cluttered, and I don't really like it that much. My main motivation for building this new desk was because I didn't like to stand that much, and I wanted a place where I could sit down and become more productive while working. The wood for the top and shelves was reclaimed 3¼ inch oak flooring I nabbed off of Craigslist for $50. It still had all the nails and staples that I needed to remove. I found that vice grips, tin snips, and a hammer were all that I needed. My trip to Home Depot yielded 2x4 lumber, iron pipe, 3/8 inch bar stock, and a few fittings. At a buddy's house, I ripped the 2x4s in half to use as the carcass for the shelves and braces for the top. I set up a stop block on a radial arm saw to cut the cross pieces for the shelves, which you'll see me use later. With a dado blade, I cut away material on the cross pieces to be used for half-lap joints on the shelves. Cutting half-lap joints without a table saw is a little more tricky. These full 2x4s were used as the carcass for the tabletop. Again, using my buddy's lunchbox planer, I took off the top stain and varnish on the oak flooring after they were denailed and de-stapled. Construction of the top and shelves begins. I used wood glue and coarse thread 1¼ inch drywall screws. For this project, I bought these 18-volt Milwaukee cordless drill and driver set, and they were so helpful. They made things so much easier and more productive. As I was getting ready to attach the flooring to the top, I switched out the blade on my 10-inch Hitachi chop saw for one with more teeth. More teeth equals less tear out and a smoother cut. I trimmed the excess off the ends of the shelves and top with a circular saw. I figured this was a better idea than trimming the ends separately before mounting them to the surfaces. Painting the iron pipe, floor flanges, and bar stock required a little bit of prep work with some emery cloth and making sure all the dust was off before painting. An angle grinder came in very handy for cutting the bar stock. You'll see later how I use these pieces for hanging the shelves on the vertical iron pipe pieces. Here I'm mounting the floor flanges to the underside of the tabletop. These took a while to measure and mount because I wanted to have the vertical iron pipe members on the top of the desk to sit directly on top of the legs for stability and strength reasons. I trimmed the edge of the desk with the same oak I used for the top, but I had to cut the tongue and groove off with my buddy's table saw. I used an 18-gauge Bostitch pneumatic nailer with 2-inch brads to attach the trim. This is where the 60-tooth chop saw blade came in very handy to cut the miters without too much tear out. Sanding, lots and lots of sanding with a belt sander and random orbit sander. Although the oak flooring was run through the same planer at the same time, there were big differences in thickness that would have made the final product less than ideal and rather uneven. I used a chamfer bit to ease the edges on the tabletop and the shelves. After I was done making sawdust, I wanted to make sure the surfaces were as clean and dust-free as possible with the use of our house vacuum and a damp washcloth. Next was the application of wood putty. I use this for two reasons. One, the oak's open grain tends to produce a splotchy, irregular end product after staining. The wood putty fills the open grain. Number two was to fill major gaps, holes, and irregularities within the wood. Next was drilling the 1-inch holes in the shelves to accept the vertical iron pipe members on the top of the desk. I added a shelf in the front of the desk between the two legs, and that required a 2-inch hole. A hole saw did the trick. Probably my favorite part of the build was staining. You see such an immediate change in such a short amount of time. I used an oil-based stain. It was a Minwax 230 Early American. Here I'm drilling the holes in the 3/4-inch vertical iron pipe members to accept the 5-inch pieces of bar stock. If you search iron pipe shelves on Pinterest, you'll see them cutting the pipe, threading it, and then using couplings every foot or so. The reason I went with bar stock to support the shelves was cost and ease of building. Each coupling was the price of both 4-foot pieces of bar stock. Here I'm cutting the hole in the middle of the table for a cable management system. If you're wondering what method I'm using to cut this hole with a jigsaw, I'll talk more about it at the end of the movie. Applying 1 coat of semi-gloss oil-based polyurethane provides protection and a little sheen for the finished product. Breakdown of the standing desk. This standing desk is for sale if you're interested. I've supplied a link below in the description to the Craigslist ad. If the link is active, it's still for sale, but if it's not working, odds are it has been sold. I was really excited to work on the cable management system on the underside of the tabletop. I used pipe hanger strapping and 1/2 inch steel sheet metal screws to attach things like power strips, the modem, router, USB port, and even my external hard drive. Product. Now that it's built, I ask myself what I would have done differently. Number one, the shelves are a bit chunky, they're a bit thick. If I was going to build them over again, I would have made them a little bit thinner. Plus, when the shelves are slimmed down a little bit, you're able to fit more stuff underneath. As it is, we can't even fit a medium-sized book on its end because there is very little room in between the shelves. The second thing I would change was the hole in the middle of the desk. Why didn't I use a 2 or 3 inch hole saw? What was I thinking? I guess I dreamed about this idea using that paper clip around the jigsaw. It wasn't really the best carpentry maneuver or carpentry move, but the hole is okay. It's just a little bit too big, and plus it's lopsided, but it works. Number 3 thing I would have done differently is I would have drilled the 3/8 inch holes in the 3/4 inch vertical iron pipe members using a drill press. The drill that I used didn't drill the holes perfectly perpendicular to the pipe, and plus they all weren't on the same plane or in a perfect line, and a drill press would have made that much cleaner. The story behind the dark wood insert that you might have seen in the corner of the desk is I received this piece of wood with that bike engraving from a friend in Atlanta, and it's been floating around my apartments for a couple years, and I thought it's wood and it looks like about the same thickness as the 3/4 inch flooring that I use. So I said, why not try to integrate that into the desktop? I had to trim it down an inch or two to make it 6.5 inches tall to fit in with 2 complete courses of the flooring, but it looks really, really good where it is. Well, that's about it for now. I really hope you liked this video. This was a really fun, fulfilling, and very challenging project. Write any questions or comments you have down below in the description. Thanks so much.